Don't know why we don't do the acknowledgement for committee of the whole, but we do for council. But before we go into the agenda, I have two little things. Mita phoned me, and I'm sure that David has already also told people, but their night service ends on Thursday until they get caught up on their staffing. So they're expecting that there'll be no overnight service for a week or two. So if you hear about people complaining that people, the homeless are homeless at night, that's why. Okay. And the other thing is the economic development officer from Sucker Creek, Shirley Callio, asked me, and I guess I also sort of in response to a conversation I had with her, to make a presentation to council on about the Indian relay races. Are there any problems with that? Anybody? Pardon? No, she'll come as a delegation. Okay, just to let you know, either next one or the town council one after that. Moving on then to the agenda, are there any additions or subtractions? Councilor Minderline. Notice of motion, we'll put that on 5.4. Okay. Notice of motion. Any other additions or subtractions? Okay, 5.5. J.C. Park. Okay. Anything else? I would then entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as extended. Deputy Mayor, all those in favor? Carried. Moving on to the minutes. We're now on page 2. These are the minutes of March 3rd, 2026, the Committee of the Whole. Are there any errors or omissions? Page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Hearing none, entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Councilor Minderline, all those in favor? Carried. Moving on to the minutes we're now on page 6. Moving on to the minutes of the Committee of the Whole on April 21st, 2026. Are there any errors or omissions? Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. Hearing none, entertain a motion to adopt. Councillor Martinson, all those in favor? Carried. Moving on then to item 5.1, the Muskwa Medical Center. The CEO, please introduce the topic.
Yeah, just briefly, because this is for council to consider whether and how much they may want to contribute towards this medical center, or whether it'll be with it could be an annual contribution to cover operating costs. It's up to council how they want to proceed with this.
Okay, we'll start our roundtable with Councillor Martinson.
I think right now, the way the town is financially, we should just not look any further into this, actually. If so happens where we can contribute later on, then maybe we can do like the other municipalities and donate so much per year, or for our term, I guess.
I was looking for a page, they had a partnership page in here and I can't remember where it went to. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Yeah, as I suspected. Any other comments, Councillor Martinson? Councillor Temple?
No, I agree with Councillor Martinson. I think right now a financial situation, especially with the repairs for the sports palace that have to be done and all that stuff, that we should just hold off for now.
Councillor Shunter?
Yeah, I'll echo that. We're not in a position to be cutting a check to a Grand Prairie project. But at the presentation, he did mention the possibility of satellite offices, and it may be worth exploring that. I would be supportive of spending taxpayer dollars on, but not in Grand Prairie. We've got empty space in the hospital, and we've got that clinic that I believe Peavine owns beside the hospital, and both would be prime location for a satellite office if we were to explore that.
Thank you, Councilman Ryan.
I basically concur with all of the above. Medical is a provincial responsibility. We can't get too deep into the weeds on this one because we've got lots of fish ready to catch. So for
Deputy
now,
Mayor.
And I agree with everybody else.
I wanted to take a quick look at their community partners because I was pretty sure that the town of Peace River wasn't in it. And I can see why. They have a hospital. I think this is a really good project. I in no way impugn this project. I think it's an excellent project. And it's an excellent, it's great that there's a whole bunch of private donations going into this. Although there's a lot of taxpayer dollars going into it too, if you look at the funding partners list. But I'm of the mind that if we're going to spend money on health services, which is Councilor Minderline points out are really Alberta Health Services responsibility, then we should be looking at expanding services here in our own hospital. And if we had that much money, I'd rather match the 75,000 for the helipad and get that thing in place before we do anything else. So I guess we're of a common mind. You'll still have a chance to think about it. This will come back to, are we going to come back to council? Only if we decide to make a donation, eh?
That's right. So I wouldn't bring this back as an
No,
RFP.
it doesn't look like we're of a mind presently to do that. I know a number of you, it wasn't just Councillor Shunter, but a couple of you mentioned that if they ever went to having sort of field offices, High Prairie might support something like that, but not right now. Okay, so let's draw a line on that conversation. Moving on then to our favorite topic, or rather, should I say our perennial topic. 5.2, we're now on to page 29. And I'll save the CAO and go straight to you. We have sharpened our pencils. Welcome, CM. Go ahead.
Good evening,
You-
everybody.
You just distributed this. I'm sorry, I didn't have a chance to look at it.
No, it was a last minute addition.
And maybe the first thing you could do is walk us through this,
Okay.
sort of highlighting the important pieces and also, of course, why you are bringing this to our attention.
Okay. I'd first like to acknowledge that there was a comment made at the last council meeting asking why we even completed an engineering report. If we had left it alone, no money would have been spent on this. As the manager of recreation, I see it differently. It's a due diligence on my part to ensure that anyone walking into these facilities, Bryce knows, that
I think the
they're-
comment was said, if this hadn't been brought to our attention 5 years from
Yeah.
now, another council would be dealing with this.
Yes,
It
but-
wasn't meant to be flippant, but
I
it
know,
was insightful.
I know, but I want to
Well,
ensure
maybe a little
that
flippant.
someone watching this might not see that. And I want to ensure that anyone who walks into a town of High Prairie facility knows that they are walking into something that is safe and sound. And that's why this whole topic has been brought up.
You've reached the extent of your chastisement. Let's go on with the paper.
Okay, so visuals help. So this is a visual that you can see that shows the Gordon Buchanan Center with the new addition coming with it. So this is just something as a visual so that you have an idea of what we are all on the same pages when we come to talk about a multiplex. So engagement is the first step, seeing what the community wants, what Big Lakes County residents want, surrounding areas want. So I did up a survey. It's just a sample, just an idea of what I would bring forward to the residents so that they can fill it out anonymously if they wish to or not. Just asking some very basic questions. We did complete a survey a couple years ago in 2024, before my time, that showed a multiplex was quite important for this community. So I believe it will still be on the top of everyone's wish list coming forward.
That wasn't the survey that also found that council should cut the budget on snow removal?
This is a survey done before my time, so I can't.
That's the survey that was done before our time. And it was, I'm not making this up. The conclusion was that we cut the snow removal budget. It was before past December.
Well,
Go ahead.
so a simple survey asking, what would you like to see? Do you want us to renovate the Sports Palace? Which, yes, renovating it, but to what extent? Does it become costly, more costly than just replacing it? Doing repairs, as Wendy had said, will only expand the life cycle of it for maybe 20 years.
Now, when you conducted the or when your predecessor conducted the survey,
Yes.
it did say that what they'd like to see in a future multiplex would be a walking track, and that's 92.4%
Mm-hmm.
of the surveyors. Gymnasium, 83%, field house, 60%, concession, 57%, and a pool, 52%. But so I'm not sure things would change, but maybe they would if we reissue the survey again. I don't know how you would feel.
I think the trend would stay pretty much as it was 2 years ago. Being out in the public, I hear a lot of comments, and the first thing they ask is, where's our walking track? Where's our indoor facilities in the winter if I don't play hockey? And it's a good, valid question. You see other communities have moved along with indoor field houses because that's the trend, and winter is not going to disappear from High Prairie. It's going to continue on. And a big thing with the multiplex is it's not just a facility for people to come to play sports. It's a gathering place. It's for newcomers who move to High Prairie to find friends, to find a group that they can call, their circle. We have doctors coming in, Tolko, all different industries are moving in here. We need these people to stay. And the second they're able to leave, the majority leave. That is the trend. It's been like that for 20 some years. We have to switch that trend around. We need people to stay, build their lives here, build their families here. And the only way you're going to get that is with the younger 20 to 40-year-old group. They're the ones with the income, they're the ones working, and they're the ones who are going to pay taxes. And if we don't have what they need to stay, they're going to leave to other communities that do have these offerings. And yes, we can say, well, we're a small community. That's no longer an excuse because you see many, many communities of our size that have multiplexes or some type of indoor facility where they can gather, make friends, feel included in this community. And right now we don't have that. So new people coming in don't have a place to make friends where their kids can play and meet others. And I think that's a big deterrent of staying in High Prairie. So we have to look at this multiplex not just as, a cost to the town. We got to see what comes with these benefits. If we're going to attract new people to this community and taxpayers, well, we can't continue doing what we have in the last 20 years. It's time to, pave a new path and get people here And if we don't invest in our town ourselves as employees of the town, how can we expect anyone else to invest in this town if we don't show pride in the ownership?
So coming back to your, and
Yeah.
they're not page numbered, but this one here,
Yes,
where it's a snapshot of priority project survey,
yeah,
and then it goes into that. This is the summary of the survey that was done by your predecessor, is that
Yes.
correct?
yes, in 2024.
Okay, and you are recommending, I take it, that this survey be done again?
Well, we need community engagement, as was told by.
Just a yes or no will do.
Yes,
Okay. Well, that's in line. One of the counselors who unfortunately is absent really wanted to make a point of that we listen carefully to a broad cross-section of the community. If I look at this, and we'll do the roundtable, but
Mhm.
this is basically step one in a project that we might call the multiplex.
Mhm.
But we also have decisions to make prior to that. Do we do a 5 or the 5-10 year fix, the short-term fix, or do we do a long-term fix?
Mhm.
Okay? So we'll start getting some of the views of counselors out. Counselor Minderline, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I've got a few. I too am in mind that we need to get something going with this thing now to make it, as you've said, safe for the upcoming years. The other thing is there's a lot of work that goes into the multiplex if the project does go ahead. Checking with the people is one thing, checking on funding sources, grants, whatever else may be out there, what the county's take flavor is for this. Maybe some of our First Nations neighbors. But I think for now, what we need to look at is getting this thing back up and so it's safe to go and operate this year. Then after that, we can look at what we want to do for a multiplex project, whether we want to do the survey, not just maybe the multiplex, you're talking about something much wider. What's needed in this town, what we can afford, find out what it actually cost. I would imagine it's probably Dr. Slave Lake or something like that. They would have some numbers there, or even MD of Valley, or the town of Valley View. But again, they have, in the case of Valley View, I found out they had a lot of input there from the County of Greenview, or MD of Greenview, pardon me.
County paid for it.
Yeah, the county paid for it. And now also that they have a tenant in there as the new school will be using that for the gymnasium, which is an attractive feature.
So you're basically saying.
Saying we need to get
the
the-
safety piece first.
Yeah.
And then explore the multiplex.
Mhm.
Counselor Temple.
Yes, I'm with Councillor Minderline on that too. We need to get the Sports Palace repaired to where we can use it for the next 5-10 years. This is something I think that we need to get together with Big Lakes County and all the First Nations and the Métis settlements all in one room and bring this up to see what their thoughts on this are. Right? I'd be curious as a survey. I want to know how many people from the county are using these facilities, how many from First Nations are using these facilities, and how many from in town are using these facilities before I would make a big decision. Because I know the cost of a multiplex is, we're talking 40 million plus. And I don't know if we can afford that.
Counselor Shunter.
Yeah, I'll echo both Councillor Temple and Councillor Minderline. I'll point out the survey. I don't like the surveys that the town puts out because for the most part, I find them to be somewhat biased and often unclear. And most importantly, you only get an accurate sample if the person filling out the survey is educated on the survey that they're filling out, right? So like question 5, the 5 options, to me, it's just barely clear what each option entails. And we've been sitting around the table discussing it. So I think the average resident wouldn't truly understand what each option is getting them. And I don't know how they, select the option that they prefer if they don't truly understand what each option means. So I think there's some rewording to do there. And the tax impact would you support a tax increase? Well, we've already implemented a tax increase to fund a new recreation center. So what we're really asking is, would you support a additional tax increase, right? But it's just, we've got a history of not putting out great surveys, and the data that you get back is really dependent on the quality of the survey. So I'd like that, I'd like us to put some time into it if we're going to put out another survey, and make sure that the survey is worded in a way that people can understand it well.
Sorry, this was just a sample survey. Oh,
I know, I'm just saying, it's, I understand it's just a draft, but yeah.
Okay. Councilor Martinson?
I'm on the short term to repair the Sports Palace and then go from there. But again, these two gentlemen to my right here are on the rec committee. So you can have a say in what's on the survey, so.
Okay. Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, I agree with what he said.
Maybe I can sort of put a box around this. We want to do the safety short-term thing. So we'll need a box to put that into. And we want to have a survey that we can take. The one thing I didn't agree with on Councillor Temple's suggestion was to try bring everybody into one big room. I would rather have a survey that we could then take to the county, to the First Nations and to the settlements, and to introduce the survey to them and the general concept. How's that? I know that the CEO has spoken to people over in the county, so have I. There is appetite there to contribute. There's appetite there to support. They have a grants officer who does nothing but keep totally up to date with all the provincial and federal grants that are, and private corporate grants that are out there for projects like this. So I think that we don't have to worry too much about the county, but that's not to say that we shouldn't include them in the list. David?
Now, council has already approved a motion for the steel saddles. So I did contact the engineering firm this morning to go ahead with that. The county also, I mean, they can't commit any funds until they see some sort of design and options. So, you know, yes, we can, I think survey, we can certainly provide additional perspective that would be behind the survey questions to give them more information. But we're going to need, you know, that when we put out a survey, and it's my experience that yes, people want walking track, field house, whatever, until they see the sticker price and the actual tax rate increase. And then I think if we come up with design options and then potential how we finance it to give them an estimate, because it's still going to be an estimate of what it might cost them in their municipal taxes, and then see what their survey answers would be. That's my point of view, but I like Bryce, I like Councillor Shunter's suggestion and explaining the survey, something behind the survey itself.
I see, sorry, go ahead, Bruce.
Did we make any progress on gathering drawings from when the Gordon Buchanan Center was built? Did we have, did we find
No,
anything?
somebody was going to go over and get the drawings, but I don't know. Did somebody do that?
can I, the original drawings don't make sense for today's time. So it had a lounge bar stash area in the back that's currently not being used. I don't think that's a good use of space in a multiplex facility. Having someone have a few drinks and then fall down those stairs, which are quite steep, I think defeats the purpose. I'd rather see it used as a multi-use meeting room or an area where we can rent
We're,
out.
we're not debating what should be in there. He just wants to see
Yeah.
the drawings.
It's
Oh,
a,
sorry.
it's a starting point. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be a bar. It could be a
Yeah.
salad bar instead of an alcohol bar. I don't care. But
Yeah.
the point is, there's a restaurant up there. Doesn't matter what they serve. We just, I think what I voiced at the last meeting was that somewhere there has to be a set of drawings that gives us a starting point, right?
I've requested it. They just haven't seen them. So Counselor Midline mentioned how much Slave Lake cost. At the time, it was 13 million to build that facility. And that was in 2013, right after the fires, I believe. So that is the cost difference, what 13 years can make. Second arena, field house, walking track, indoor playground, meeting rooms. Yeah.
It's doubled since then.
Yeah, so that's the example of the longer we wait, the cost doubles. Valley Views was 42 million, and that put a pool in it. The majority of the cost went to the pool because that is the most
Pools
expensive.
are really expensive.
That's the most expensive item in that building. So 42 million back in 2018, where almost half of that went towards the pool. The
Yeah.
rest went to the field house, the gym, indoor playground, gymnastics center, meeting rooms, concession, and a kitchen that the community could rent for parties.
And construction inflation is generally about 12 to 15% a year. So,
Okay, where
Sorry.
we're at now is that we have approved the short-term response, which is basically, let's make it safe and then get on with it. So we've approved that. So we've decided not to go to the long-term repair. We're at the short-term repair. My view on this survey is of course, it has to be made, we want to bring it to the general public. But I'm going back to talking particularly to the Aboriginal communities. Just wait. I know you're there. This is already sufficient concept. I would like the survey to almost be a guide for our conversation with them. We're not going to be asking their residents to fill this survey out when we go meet with them, but we want to be able to use this survey as a guide for discussion. If we can remember to do it that way with the proviso that we sharpen the wording as Councillor Shunter has done it, I think then we're at our next step. I don't know how far we can go without at least one introductory meeting, particularly with the Aboriginal communities. And I don't think it's going to be the only meeting with them. I think by the time we get a handle on what the public wants to see, then we have to go back to them and find out how much people will contribute. So I think there's going to be 2 meetings. So there will meet twice with Sucker Creek, twice with Driftwell, twice with East Prairie. But the first meeting is really to introduce the concept, and the questions of the survey should guide the conversation. And that gives us a starting point. Any comfort level with that? Go ahead, Seema.
So my goal was to put out a survey for the town residents and county residents, and also have Peavine, Sucker Creek all participate and hand out a personalized survey on behalf of the town of High Prairie, saying, similar to as when you're in High Prairie, would you utilize the multiplex? What's your age group? And have it geared to when your residents of the nation are in High Prairie, what do you value? To see what their take is on it. So should you want to go meet with the First Nations, you could explain that, hey, your survey was done in Peavine and your residents spend more time in High Prairie than at home. And this is what they'd like to see happening here in High Prairie. That gives us some footing on the financial support we're seeking.
No, I'm not suggesting we don't do the survey of the residents of, say, Driftpile. I am suggesting that we go to their council first, before we distribute it. We're not gonna go and and survey the residents of Driftpile without talking to their council first. That's simply showing respect to them. And so I think what we're looking at, and it all depends on how many people in council want to sort of form the team that goes to to the settlements and the reserves. It doesn't have to be everybody, and doesn't have to be the same people always on the team. But I could see a team of 3 or 4 people going and visiting them, but getting that done in a relatively short period of time. Have them visited expeditiously, dare I say, by the end of May, certainly by the end of June. Does that have any comfort level to it, David?
Yeah, sure. We certainly, that'll be fine. And I would suggest if all of council isn't going, then certainly the mayor and deputy mayor would go, and another representative council. It would be good to have CM there and myself.
Yeah. We wouldn't go without you. We need somebody to tell us what to say.
I do have a good working relationship.
Pardon?
I do have a good working relationship with Sucker Creek, Driftpile and Peavine right now. We're on a very good talking basis.
Yeah, and most of us have been around long enough to know everybody there anyway. Councilor Minderland.
Just one quick thing. Since we have a joint rec board with the county, should we invite them also to attend with us? Because this is going to affect our recreation board, what the cost of recreation is going to be in the future and that. And so should they be in the discussions of this?
I don't think we should be striking anyone off the list.
Yeah.
Yes, they probably should be.
Yeah, because they are part of the rec board, same as we
Yeah.
are.
Anything else? Let's go back around the table. I need to know what your comfort level is with this sort of plan that's emerging. Councillor Martinson.
I know before, when I was with council and the town, that it was a hard push to get, with the First Nations and settlements. So I know previous mayors had invited him here, and my suggestion is that we go
No, we go there.
as a,
Yeah.
yeah,
We don't ask them here. We go there.
no, that's good.
Councillor Temple?
No, I'm fine with the mayor's plan. It made sense to me. I know Councillor Martinson brought up a good point that this had been brought up years ago with recreation and the rinks and everything, and Peavine just turned around and built their own rink. It was like a slap in the face to High Prairie, right? Say, well, we're not going to contribute to you, we'll build our own rink. So they're hard to deal with, but I think it's good to meet with them all.
Yeah. Councillor Shunter?
Well, everything sounds good to me.
Okay, Councillor Minderland's already. Deputy Mayor? Okay, let's draft something out. Then we'll obviously staff will have to make initial contacts with the chiefs and chairs and to set up some kind of travel agenda for us. And let's try to get it all done in May. That's what, 6? 6 reserves and 6 settlements. That'd be Driftpile, Sucker Creek, Kapound, and East Prairie, Peavine, and a Tickmig. That's all right. Are we missing somebody that we should be talking to? We're going to the we're going to East Prairie, Peavine. What's the other settlement? East Prairie, Peavine, Gift Lake. Yeah. And that's the question I'm a little ambiguous on. Are we going to go to to the Whitefish First Nation
Yes.
as well. So that's,
Yeah.
now we're at 4 First Nations. Okay? 3 settlements, 4 First Nations, the county. And by the time we get all of this put together, our representatives on the rec board will introduce it to the rec board as well. Okay? And I expect that we have an economic development meeting in 2 weeks' time with the county. And we'll probably bring that up there too. It's, I've always felt that there was good appetite for the project. Anything else on this? Go ahead. Draw a line under this for us.
I believe we're at a vital time. And yes, I agree. Going to the First Nations is very important. I am meeting with Donna Buchanan soon. She'd like to sit down and have a discussion about this. So we're going to make it just an easy lunch, taking her out for lunch, and we're going to discuss the Gordon Buchanan Center and the possibility of a multiplex. So she's excited. She wants to hear what we have to say. She'd like to be part of it. So
I think we also have to probably be ready to talk to the big corporate players like Tolko and Russ Fraser as well, even though both of them, business is not good for them right now. They don't have spare cash. Okay? Anything else?
Yep. I went to Whitefish with Steve Willier, and we were talking about how he gets things done with them. And he says, if you want to get the elders on your side, they really appreciate if you speak their language. So I was wondering if we shouldn't get somebody like Steve Willier to come with us and maybe be our spokesman in Cree.
In all the years that I spent visiting all of the isolated communities, I never spoke. Archie Cunningham always spoke, and he always spoke in Cree, and he never asked me what to say. He would just speak, and then at the end of the day, I'd ask him what I'd agreed to. What? Yeah, yeah. Muniao and Sunias.
Oh, yeah. Can Councillor Hanlon speak Cree?
Okay, does she? She's from Ontario. No, Cree isn't Cree. No, no, there's a fair bit of difference already between Woodland Cree and Prairie. Okay, we'll put that in there. We won't put it as a footnote. We'll put it right in there and see what we can accomplish. Okay, have we got something drafted out here that we can look at? And particularly she's going to do for us? Well, you said you knew all these people. Now we're,
you want me to draft
Testing.
the letters for the First Nations and the,
no, the first, we want, Councillor Shunter wants to see this thing fixed up.
Okay.
Pencil sharpened on this. All I'm saying is when you're looking at this, also consider that it's going to become the conversation guide when we meet with our Aboriginal partners. Okay? Anything else on business item 5.2?
Yeah, so we'll draft up the survey and the accompanying essay, if you will, on the perspective that the public will need. But we'll pass this by council.
Yeah, we'll have it on Tuesday, a week from today. Did you have your hand up, Councilor Minot? Anything else on this? 5-minute break. I have to fill up my coffee cup. God, it's great being a mayor, isn't it?